There's some weird noises in the background, but I don't know what that is. Noises in the background, but I don't know what that is. Salt. Everyone can hear that beeping, right? I don't know what that is. Everyone can hear that beeping, right? I don't know what that is. I'm going to turn off a bunch of other apps. Ah. It's very sunny today. We are supposed to be getting amazing weather over the next couple days, and we're not supposed to go outside. If you know the Pacific Northwest, you know that this is common. I have too many chairs. I'm only one person. Why do I have a full dining set? I never have dinner parties in my house. All right, so this table is an art table, meaning that it goes up and down like this. But I'm hoping it's steady enough, because otherwise, this is where I usually do my bread, and all you would see would be my back. This is my brand new IKEA board. My mom has one exactly like it, and I've loved it forever. But she loves it too, so I finally bought my own. Mine is made out of bamboo. You can see lots of reflection in my glasses, huh? It's their new style. It has this lip, so it doesn't move. And you can also turn it over, and it has this reservoir thing. I think you're supposed to use it for meat, because that's why usually cutting boards have a reservoir. Am I too tall? It's just going to permanently cut me off. So, if you're supposed to cut meat on this side and let the juices collect, I think that's weird, having a meat cutting board on the other side of a bacon cutting board. Also, usually meat, I want to do it on plastic so that I can clean it very, very well. You don't really want to do meat on wood. Do I want to turn chat on? Nobody's reading this, right? Or nobody's watching it. There are 3 people watching it. I have no idea who the third person is. I know who 2 of you are because I'm talking to you in another window. Settings, community, default. Settings, community, default. All right. I am holding potentially inappropriate chat messages for review. So don't say anything inappropriate. But you should now be able to comment. But of course, I don't want to keep it open because that's what was making the sound before. All right, still says comments turned off. Maybe that just takes a while. It's turned off. Maybe that just takes a while. It's turned off. Maybe that just takes. All right. I'm going to go over there and cough. I'm going to do it into my elbow. So don't worry, because this is a cough that I have had since the end of January. And it might just be because I had coffee this morning. And when you have a cough, you are not supposed to drink dairy products because it makes the cough worse. It collects phlegm. All right. So I started this bread earlier this morning. I started a video of me in the morning doing my morning routine. I did it with QuickTime and just the webcam. This is just the webcam too, but it looks like much, much better quality. I might decide to go back to that video and edit some pieces out and put it up later. I don't know. I just watched the beginning of it. It's me in my pajamas doing my dishes and at the same time boiling water, making coffee, and then putting in some. I like to use just medium hot water, not really room temperature. It's usually a little bit hotter than that just because it's like the water I use when I'm doing my dishes. I don't have a dishwasher. I do hand wash everything. So medium water. I have right now this amazing Kohana honey. This is from Hawaii. My friends and I went to Hawaii over the New Year. So this is honey from a farm in Hawaii, and then they give it to a company that makes rum from sugarcane, from original, what do they call it? Heirloom sugarcane. So they put this honey into the old rum barrels and let it sit in there. And then it smells and tastes amazing. This is all I have left. So that's the sugar. And then this is the yeast. It's not the baker's yeast that is more powdery, but it is a very good quality yeast. You get it in a brick from Costco. My mom buys it. It's like about this big. No, that looks huge. What about that? So my mom buys it, and then I steal some. Keep it in the freezer. Yeast is alive. You need to keep it alive. So water, sugar, yeast. I feel like I'm talking really, really loud, and I have upstairs neighbors. And the kids are home for spring break. But it doesn't really sound like they're here. All right, I'm getting so much glare on my glasses. I'm going to turn off this light. Does that still look good? No, I'm still getting the glare. It's probably from outside. All right. So the yeast sits there for a while I'm eating breakfast. I don't measure and I don't time things because that's how my mom cooks and that's how I learned. So this is my big thing about baking is so many people don't bake because they think they have to be perfect. They think that it's chemistry. They think that it's science, and that is all true. But also, you can just do it and it still works out. Honestly, it still works out. All right. So after the yeast gets foamy, I put in some sourdough starter. This is my current one in this nice little container. I'm keeping it in the fridge right now because I don't want to deal with it. So I'm not going to be feeding this thing. So I put some in here before I put it in there. The stuff that was in here, I fed it yesterday. So this morning it was still warm. So sourdough starter goes in there. I always like to put some fat in my bread. I have butter right now, but I just did canola oil because it's always here. Very easy to pour. And then flour, all-purpose flour, regular all-purpose. I don't use bread flour just because I don't buy it. I buy a 10K bag at Costco of all-purpose flour, and I use it for everything. So this is basic bread. This is nothing fancy, except for the sourdough starter. That's a little bit fancy. And the last thing is salt. Put the salt in with the flour. Don't put the salt with the yeast. All right. So I put in like 2 of these, which is just about 2 cups, a little less than 2 cups. It's just this fancy thing that I got for Christmas one year. Again, I don't measure. I throw it in. This is very, very sticky. Oh. Let's see. You see that better? I'm still getting weird light. There you go. You can see it sticking. It's very, very sticky dough. Usually, I would just let it go over here and keep pouring flour in and in and in until it cleans off the bowl, and then I just let it sit there. But today, I'm going to do it on the board because this is going to be fun. All right. So I'm going to get this off. This, if you don't know, is called a dough hook. It is one of the basic attachments with the KitchenAid. And it's the one that you should use with bread, not the one you should use for cookies. You should use the paddle for the cookies. And don't put that in the dishwasher if you have a dishwasher. All right, I'm getting my hands floured. If you have one of these, it's the best. It's called a bench scraper. Let me see that. Wow, that glare, look at that. So it is Kraft shortening brand. This thing might be older than I am. It came from my grandma. I like the round for getting in the bowl. Yes, that was a sniffle. I am not sick, but I am recovering. And also, it is cold. Not in my apartment right now, but that's what makes me sniffle. All right. I have always loved watching cooking shows, and one of the things that they never do is clean the bowl. They always leave stuff in there, and it drives me crazy. It drives me wild. All right, so you get the thing covered in flour. Let me see if I go too far up. Yeah, right here. Just fold it and press it. Fold it and press. Fold, press, fold, press. That's it. And you just pick up the flour that's on your board, move it around until it's not sticky anymore. I really shouldn't be wearing black, should I? I always do this. I never wore aprons growing up. My mom never does either. So, it's just not something we did. Technically, I have one. I stole it from my mom, like most things, because I liked the color. And I thought I would use it at the farmer's market. So perhaps I should be wearing it, huh? It's like my branding, my personal brand. So this thing is called a bench scraper because you can also scrape up your board, which in a pastry kitchen is called your bench. I am just trying. And you just turn that bit over into the flour. And if it's getting really, really sticky, then you put more flour on the board. But you want to be careful not to use too much flour. So usually you should knead until it gets very smooth. Sometimes I'm impatient and I just don't, because it still tastes good. I am going to add a little bit more flour to this one. Also because sometimes it's just fun. need. So this table is holding up surprisingly well. And I guess, do I want to be closer or further? All right, now the table's moving. How can I stop it from moving? It's very, very easy. You do not have to be perfect. Right now, I'm just going around the board and picking up all the little bits. One of my favorite bread making tips came from Jamie Oliver. And he said that when you're doing it in a mixer like this, when the dough comes away clean from the sides, so the side of the bowl is clean, the dough ball has picked up all of that flour, and when the dough hook comes out clean, that's when you know it's perfect. Just enough flour to water, just enough kneading. All right. It's a little bit sticky, a little bit but I think I'm going to let it sit now. I don't know what I'm going to do with this bread yet, because I actually have a loaf right there. I'm going to make a grilled cheese sandwich later for lunch. It's 11:28 where I am. I'm going to put this into a bowl. Bowl, oil, roll it. Cover it. That's it. I'm probably going to use this later, so I'm not going to worry about it being too clean. I'm going to stick it over here. There's a guy walking his dog out there, and the dog just sat down for scratching and refused to move. And the guy was yanking on the leash. All right, bread dough. This is, ooh, you really can't see that with the light. Salt. And more salt. Well, this is my salt collection. There you go. Actually, I don't need to open that up yet. Sea salt. Is that backwards for you? I suppose so, huh? So this was from yesterday. I usually leave it just to make sure everything's completely dried. Let's see if this works. This one. You can see, no, you can't see, huh? There, yeah. See those big flakes? Another bench scraper. Salt. You can see. Oh, it's really hard to see, huh? I wonder if I close. Is that better? Or oh yeah, that is better. Hey. All right. Salt, bread. There's now a guy in my front yard using a weed whacker later and do my grilled cheese. I really wanted to make a tuna melt, but everybody bought all the tuna already. There was tinned shrimp left. I don't like shrimp. And there was clams too, I think. Ugh. Especially not tinned. No tuna. We haven't had a lot of panic buying here. Well, that's not true. We have had a lot of panic buying of very specific things. So there's still tons of stuff in the grocery store. There's lots of milk. There's lots of eggs. There's lots of bread and vegetables, but there's no toilet paper. There's no hand sanitizer. There is almost no Kleenex and paper towels, but I still saw a few paper products. I bought Jello yesterday. Nobody bought all the Jello. I mean, that's super cheap. Great stuff for quarantine. Nice treat. All right, I'm going to take a break. Thank you for joining me for my very first stream.